Hi guys, welcome to this week's Speedy SPAG lesson. So since last week I've seen loads of tweets and pictures of you guys joining in with last week's Speedy SPAG lesson, and it's brilliant to see you all working so hard at home, so well done, keep it up. So are we ready for some Speedy SPAG today? Let's get started and warm our brains up. So to warm up our brains today and see what you know, we're going to have a look at these 4 sentences on the screen. Now there are some errors in these sentences. They could be spelling errors, they could be missing capital letters or missing punctuation. Have a look and see if you can spot all the errors and correct them for me. Pause the video now while you have a go. How did you get on with finding all of those errors, guys? Did you spot them all? There's quite a few in there and there's some that are a bit tricky to find. Let's have a look at the answers. So, in that red sentence, we've got a missing capital letter. Now we know that every sentence has to start with a capital letter, so you should have a big capital H at the beginning of that sentence. Have you done any Zumba today? Now we've got an exclamation mark there, but that's a question, so we need a question mark to finish off that question. So let's have a look at the green sentence then. I am excited for yummy Easter eggs. Well, it's true, I am excited for yummy Easter eggs coming soon, but we've got a capital letter in the middle of the sentence for excited, and we don't put capital letters in the middle of a sentence unless it's for the name of a person or a place. So that E should be a small f for excited. Now we do have a capital letter for Easter, but that's because it's the name of an important day, so we have to have a capital letter for that name. So I am excited for yummy Easter eggs, full stop. Don't forget to finish every sentence with some punctuation. So let's now have a look at the blue sentence. I have been working hard at home. Well, there's 2 errors in this sentence, and the first one is, you guessed it, capital letter for I. Not only is it a capital letter for the beginning of a sentence, but if ever we refer to ourselves in a sentence and use the word I, it must always have a capital letter. I have been working hard at home. Well, been. It should be been, not been. We're not putting rubbish in it. I have been working hard at home. So we should have b-e-n. B-e-e-n for been. And on to the yellow sentence, Ben had a video call with Tim. Well, hadda isn't a word, it's had-a. So we need a finger space between had and a. Ben had a video call with Tim. Now Tim is a noun, it's a name of a person. And when we have a name of a person, it's called a proper noun. And a proper noun must always have a capital letter. So well done if you spotted all of those errors on that page. So if you did this task for me at the end of last lesson, make sure you've got your answers to hand now. But if you didn't do last week's lesson, or if you didn't have a go at this challenge, then you can pause the screen now while you have a look at the paragraph and find all of those nouns, all of those names, and all of those adjectives or describing words. So, here we go then, here are all the answers. On the screen, I've turned all of the nouns blue, and I've turned all of the adjectives orange, so you can see where the nouns and adjectives are in this paragraph. Let's read it now that we've changed the colours of each of the words. Today the sun is warm, and the sky is bright blue. I have had a wonderful day sitting on a chair in the garden and reading my book. My book is exciting. When I get into my bed tonight, I will cuddle my cute and scruffy teddy bear. Well done if you managed to identify all of the nouns and all of the adjectives in that paragraph. So let's move on and learn about something new. Today we're going to be learning about verbs. Now verbs are action words or doing words. They're words in a text that tell the reader what a person is doing. So let's get involved with these verbs ourselves then. So stand up where you are. Can you jump? Can you jump up and down on the spot? Can you clap? Can you, oh here we go, this is going to be deafening. Can you sing? La! do a word, it is a verb. If it's something that you can do yourself, it is a verb, an action word or a doing word. So now let's play a little game. I'm going to show you a video and I'd like you to name that verb. Have you got paper and pencil ready to write down all the verbs you see in this video? Are you ready? Let's go. Did you manage to name that verb? How many verbs did you get? I've written down some on the screen. There were loads in that video that you could have written down. Now there were some actions in that video that I could use multiple different verbs to describe. For example, when I was having my cup of tea, I was drinking, I was also slurping, I was also sipping. So there are different verbs you can use to describe one action. And it's up to you how imaginative you want to be with your vocabulary. Did you get all of the verbs that I've got on the screen? Pause the video now while you have a look at all of the verbs that I've written down. See if there's any that you missed. I wonder whether you've got any verbs that I've missed out that you could add to my list. So for now, pop your list of verbs somewhere to one side because we're going to come back to those in a moment. Let's move on to the next thing we're going to learn about today. We're going to learn about adverbs. Now, an adverb gives you more information about the verb. Now, look at the first two letters of the word adverb. Does it remind you of another word? It reminds me of adjective. And an adjective is a describing word. It's a word that describes. So an adverb describes the verb. It might tell you how somebody does their action. They might do it happily or quietly, loudly or shyly. Let's have a look at how we can use adverbs in our writing. I've written a sentence on the board. Now the first thing we need to do is identify which word is the verb, which is the action word. The bunny hopped energetically. So remember, the verb is the word that you can do. So stand up and see which word you can do on the spot. The bunny hopped energetically. Are you all hopping? That's because hopped is our verb in that sentence. So now let's try to spot the adverb the word that describes the verb. How did the bunny hop? He hopped energetically. So energetically is our adverb. Okay, let's have a look at this sentence then. Whisper your secret quietly. Which is the verb? Which is the word that you can do, the action you can perform? You're right, it's whisper. So now, which is the adverb, the word that describes how you're going to whisper? Quietly, you're right. Now, there's a pattern here. When we're describing our verb using an adverb and explaining how the action was performed, there is often ly at the end of the adverb. Quietly, energetically, happily, sadly. So now that you know that, I'm going to put a sentence on the screen with a blank in it. And I'm going to give you 3 options for the adverb that fills in that blank. Now your job is to identify which out of the 3 words is an adverb that describes the action. Are you ready? The robber tiptoed blank. Walking, silently, or loud? Pick the adverb that fills in that gap. Pause the video while you have a go. I've put silently in that blank. The robber tiptoed silently, because silently describes how the robber tiptoed. Let's have a go at this next one. The athlete sprinted blank. Rapidly, running, quick. Pause the screen while you pick which word goes in that gap. Well done if you picked rapidly as the adverb to describe the verb sprinted. The athlete sprinted rapidly. That means he ran really, really fast. Okay, so we've learned that an adverb is a word that describes the verb. So now I'm going to give you a challenge. I'm going to give you 3 minutes on the Mission Impossible timer to write a list of as many adverbs as you can. Now remember what we spotted about the ending of the adverbs we're using today. All of the adverbs we've used today end in ly, in ly. So you've got 3 minutes on the Mission Impossible timer to write down as many adverbs as you can. Are you ready? Off you go. hope you've got a really long list of adverbs to describe your verbs. So now you should have a list of verbs from all the actions that I performed in my video earlier and a list of adverbs to describe the verb. So we're going to play a game of Miss Quinby is. Now to play this game you're going to need this sentence. Miss Quinby is blank blank. Now don't forget, Miss Quinby is a proper noun. It's my name, so it needs capital letters for Miss and for Quinby. Now I'm going to show you some screenshots from my video earlier, and your job is to find the verb and an adverb from your lists that fill in the gaps in the sentence so that the sentence makes sense. So, for example, you might choose the verb sleeping and the adverb peacefully. Miss Quinby is sleeping peacefully. So for each screenshot that comes onto the screen, I'd like you to pause the video and write as many sentences as you can using your list of verbs and your list of adverbs. Ready? Off we go. So I hope you've written loads of Miss Quinby is sentences using your verbs and adverbs from your lists. Keep those nice and safe because at the beginning of my next Speedy SPAG lesson, we'll go through some of the sentences you could have written and see whether we can find any more adventurous adverbs and verbs to use in your writing. I really hope you've had a great lesson today, guys. Keep working hard at home, stay safe and work hard for your mums and dads, and I'll see you really soon. Bye, guys.